People talk about heartbreak like it only comes from love. But sometimes, the most painful heartbreak of your life comes from the one place where you're supposed to feel safe. Your workplace, your dreams, your career, the thing you built with your own tired hands. My name is Lena Hartley, and the day I opened an email titled Urgent Suspension Pending Investigation was the day everything I had worked for, everything I had sacrificed, burned down in front of me, forced on me, planned for me, by the one man who was supposed to protect my career, my boss, Nathan Hale, a man who smiled at me in morning meetings, praised me in emails, told me I was like a daughter to the department. But behind my back, he was sharpening a knife for me, and the day he used it was the day I lost more than just a job. I lost my confidence, my identity, my sense of worth, my belief in people. But what he didn't know was that I would rise in a way he never imagined. I was 25 when I joined Brightstone Analytics, a rising data firm known for strict standards and impossible deadlines. Most people hated it. I loved it because I was hungry. Hungry to prove myself. Hungry to be more. Hungry to become someone. Growing up in a small town with a mother who worked double shifts and a father who left early in my childhood, I learned one thing. If you want a better life, nobody is going to hand it to you. You have to build it yourself. And I did. I worked through college, interned every summer, graduated early, moved to the city with 2 suitcases and a second-hand laptop. Brightstone hired me as an analyst, lowest position in the analytics ladder, but I didn't care. I had a dream, and soon I became the analyst everyone relied on. But I didn't rise alone. I had a mentor, or so I believed. Nathan Hale, 38, charismatic, brilliant, charming. People adored him. Upper management worshipped him. He had the kind of confidence that filled a room before he even walked in. He took me under his wing from day one. I thought I was lucky. I didn't know I was being groomed, not for leadership, but for sacrifice. He taught me everything: how to present to clients, how to build strategies, how to talk to executives, how to make myself valuable. He'd say things like, "Lena, you're going to go far. I see a spark in you. You're like the daughter I never had. I'm preparing you for something big." Those words meant the world to me because no one had ever said them before. For someone who grew up without a father figure, those words carried weight, too much weight. When he invited me to big meetings, I thought I earned it. When he asked me to help him with confidential documents, I thought it meant trust. When he shared his struggles, I thought it meant closeness. But now I know everything he did was calculated. Every little act of kindness was a brick in the wall he trapped me behind. Everything shifted in my 3rd year. A new position opened, senior data strategist, a role that meant leadership, higher pay, and one step closer to the executive ladder. People whispered that I was the top candidate. Nathan overheard those whispers, and something inside him changed. He began giving me impossible tasks. A 5-day report due the next morning. A weekend-long project, but with no overtime. Client calls at midnight. Database audits with no explanation. I thought he was preparing me. No, he was breaking me. He started criticizing my work publicly. "Lena, you missed a comma. Lena, this isn't your best. Lena, maybe you're burned out." He stopped calling me the best analyst. He stopped inviting me to meetings. He stopped looking at me with pride. I asked him once, "Did I do something wrong?" He smiled, coldly. "You got comfortable, Lena. I need to see more hunger." I walked out, confused, hurt, shaken. I didn't know then. He wasn't worried I lacked hunger. He was worried I had too much, enough to take his spotlight. And Nathan Hale was the kind of man who couldn't tolerate anyone, especially a young woman, outshining him. It was a Friday evening, office nearly empty. I was packing my bag when he called me into his office. He sounded stressed, frantic, something I had never seen before. "Lena, my login isn't working. Can you give me yours? I need to access the Greyline proposal tonight." Sharing logins was strictly prohibited, a fireable offense. But this was Nathan, my mentor, my boss, the man who helped me get this far. "I promise I'll log out immediately," he said. "I just need to download one file." My heart hesitated. My mind warned me. But my loyalty overpowered everything, and I handed it over. Just once. Just one moment of blind trust. One fatal mistake. He thanked me warmly, almost too warmly. I walked home that night feeling uneasy, like I had opened a door I wasn't supposed to. I didn't know I had just handed him the weapon he would use to destroy me. 3 days later, I received an email. "Meeting with HR, urgent." I entered the conference room to find the HR director, 2 compliance officers, and Nathan. My stomach twisted. Something was wrong. Very wrong. "Lena," HR began, "we have evidence your account was used to download restricted files from the client database." My heartbeat pounded in my ears. I didn't download anything. They said, "We have logs." And then they showed them. Files downloaded from my account, IP addresses traced to my login, timestamps that placed me at the center of the violation. My breathing turned shallow. I gave my boss my login. Nathan cut in. I never asked for her login. My vision blurred. I stared at him, betrayal burning like acid in my chest. You asked me, that night. You said your login wasn't working." His expression hardened. I would never ask anyone to break company policy. Every word was a dagger. HR stared at me with disappointment. Nathan stared at me with victory. "Lena, we're suspending you pending investigation." Suspended, just like that. I left the building with shaky legs and a heart that felt like shattered glass. Outside, the city kept moving. People laughed. Cars honked. Life continued. But mine had just stopped. The next days were a blur. I cried until my throat hurt. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I couldn't breathe without feeling like I was suffocating. My mother kept calling, "Lena, please tell me what's wrong." But how do you tell your mother? My mentor framed me. My boss lied. My career might be over. Friends at the office stopped responding. People whispered behind my back. And the worst part? I started blaming myself. Why did I trust him? Why did I give him my login? Why didn't I see who he really was? Every day, I lost a little more hope. Every night, I fell asleep crying. I wasn't just losing my job. I was losing myself. On the 12th night, at 1:42 a.m., I got a message from an unknown number. "You didn't do anything wrong. Check the internal shared drive. Folder name, Archive, Raven, Old." My fingers trembled as I opened my laptop. The folder was hidden deep inside layers of old projects. Inside were timestamps, login data, network traces, screenshots, all showing Nathan logging into my account. One file was downloaded at 2:14 a.m. I was asleep at that time. The proof was undeniable. My hands shook so hard, I dropped the mouse. Someone in the company saved this. Someone knew the truth. Someone was waiting for me to rise. The next morning, I walked into HR, eyes swollen, voice steady, hands holding the evidence. They analyzed it, line by line, log by log, timestamp by timestamp. The room grew colder, heavier. When they finally asked Nathan to enter, he walked in with his usual confidence, until he saw the screen. His eyes widened, his face drained, his throat tightened. This is manipulated," he stammered. The IT director shook her head. "No, this is your IP address, your home Wi-Fi, your system ID." Nathan's jaw clenched. Then he pointed at me. "She gave me her login." I stared straight into his eyes. "You said you never asked." The HR director slammed the file shut. The room filled with silence so thick it felt like drowning. The truth was out. Nathan Hale wasn't a brilliant mentor. He was a jealous saboteur. His mask fell. Mine stayed on. They suspended him immediately, launched a full investigation, not just into the data leak, but into his entire history. Turns out, he had a pattern of taking credit for junior staff, of manipulating projects, of erasing other people's success. I wasn't the first person he tried to destroy. I was just the one who fought back. Within weeks, he was fired, blacklisted from the industry, sued for misconduct, reported to client companies, stripped of all bonuses. His reputation wasn't damaged, it was destroyed, the same way he tried to destroy mine. But I walked out cleaner than ever. HR apologized. The CEO praised my courage. My name was cleared in writing. They even offered me his job. But I rejected it. I wanted more. I deserved more. I wasn't going to build my future in the same place that almost buried me. I started freelancing, then consulting, then building my own client base. Word spread fast. Lena Hartley, the analyst who exposed her corrupt boss. Clients admired me. Companies trusted me. People respected me. Within 8 months, I was earning more than I ever had. Within a year, I was mentoring young women entering the industry, teaching them how to protect themselves in a world full of Nathans. I didn't just rebuild my career. I built a legacy. If you've ever been betrayed at work, if someone tried to take what you earned, if someone tried to dim your light, remember this. You can lose a job, you can lose opportunities, you can lose trust. But if you don't lose yourself, you can rebuild everything. My name is Lena Hartley. I was broken, I was betrayed, I was framed, but I rose. And so will you.